November 8th here with Mobile Mailbox Money Silvercrest Opportunity Fund, day one of the Note Expo with Eddie Speed, here with James Guajardo, my partner and advisor, out here enjoying everything Dallas has to offer, shopping passive income opportunities, learning other due diligence items, as well as exploring networks and building community-based and real estate investing, specifically real estate notes, here with Eddie Speed in the Note Expo. James, how's it going today? Who did we meet? What did we explore?
Yeah, actually, attending these events, like as it says back here on the backdrop, Note Expo, it's really an eye-opener. We never know who we're going to meet at the event and what conversations can be had.
Absolutely.
And it ends up being that relationship building situation and knowledge base. It seems like everybody, as usual, when you attend these events, everybody's open to exploring not only ideas on investing in different ideas, but exchanging wealth of knowledge of information.
And collaborating, open to collaborate on the unique opportunities that they may bring to the table, how, we may fit with other people or other people may fit within, the other groups of individuals that are met at these events. A lot of unique strategies being operated. What's your take on that?
Yeah, if you think about it, life and investing is a puzzle. And everybody has different aspects of they're trying to fit their puzzle piece with their mental investment strategy. And people come to attend these events to figure out, they know that they're missing something to help get them over their investment strategy of whatever it is, whether they don't have enough capital and they're trying to figure out how to raise more capital and raise it in the proper way, or what type of asset that I should be investing in to maximize my return. Because really, we're all looking at trying to create long-term wealth. This isn't the short game. This is the long-term game, which is an amazing thing, because in life, you can focus on the short game and you run out of money immediately if a deal goes sour. In comparison to this is long-term residual income, and that's why we're here at this event. It says on there.
The Note Expo 2024.
With Eddie Speed. And actually, Alden had Eddie Speed early on a little interview, and it actually went great during the event today. And, again, it's all based off a relationship, and that continual relationship, sharing our personal knowledge of what we know about investing in low-cost housing and conveying that out to other investors and showing them the ins and outs of why it makes sense for us that we think low-cost housing is the way to go, and owner carry notes and facilitating that specific program. It's just
It'll be a stable return for years to come, right. Because of the financial market where single family pricing is, as well as rental rates, throughout the country because of institutions. At the end of the day, they've raised the, criteria of their average returns expected out in the market, and with increase in labor and material costs, that translates to a higher rental fee for end user borrower, as well as single family pricing. So, what does that translate to low cost housing and manufactured homes? You got to pivot with the market at the end of the day, with what's given and what's projected over the next, 10 to 20 years. What are hedge funds doing? They're hedging their bets in mobile home parks, affordable housing. Warren Buffett's investments in Clayton, Cavco, and 21st Mortgage show that there's a hedge in a new election going on towards the desirability of the asset of manufactured housing and mobile homes. Right. It's interesting to see, being at a Note investment conference, the translation and the pivot that institutions that are doing currently to hedge the market with the mass fluctuations and pressurized residential real estate pricing. What's your take on that, ultimately, to see the institutions hedging their bets additionally in low-cost housing for a long-term strategy? Right. That is great to see for the stability of the investment strategy behind the note. Yeah. Of a manufactured home. So if you where do you hedge your bets? In low-cost housing? That's what we do. Right. At the end of the day.
And there's a reason for that. If you think about it, with Blackstone buying up the market in the country and converting the entire single-family home market into a rental across the country and bringing rent rates up at high rates, we know that that's here to stay at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
In Arizona, Maricopa County, the average rent rate is about $1,800 a month, and that's just for a studio apartment or one-bedroom apartment.
And that's Maricopa County, Arizona, for the individuals unaware?
Yeah, and so, if you think about it, most people have that innate thought that when I graduate from college or get out of school, I get a job, I'm going to get married, and I want to have home ownership, and that's really what I'm looking for. And that's really kind of gone away, that opportunity. Low-cost housing focus of manufactured homes and parks actually creates that new opportunity. It's been there since the 70s. The mobile home parks have been there since the 70s. And it's really kind of gone away of the mental thought of it being an investment strategy, because single-family homes were being built all over the country all the way up until the last probably 5 to 7 years.
Now housing's not as abundant.
Right. And because of that, and because the cost of materials and the cost to build all across the country, it's gotten away from being a value-based purchase that somebody could buy a home, get married, have kids, get a dog, whatever, or a cat. And that whole mentality has become a shot situation. Now, all of a sudden, because housing prices are so high across the United States, all of a sudden there's this whole new influx of investment strategy in manufactured homes and parks. We do a Warren Buffett strategy. It's really a modified Warren Buffett strategy. Warren Buffett owns the manufacturing facilities of mobile home parks.
Mobile homes, manufacturing of mobile homes.
And they own the financing component with 21st Mortgage. They're the largest financing company in the country. That's Warren Buffett. So all we're doing is following the same specific model that Warren Buffett is doing in a modified program in Arizona. And it's a win-win situation, essentially. The buyer gets the opportunity to have home ownership. The investor gets a great return on their investment capital. We've actually put a fund together, Silvercrest Opportunity Fund, that Alden is actually the fund manager within that. And within that fund, investors can actually capitalize on the market and still get the backed return with the security of being in a fund that actually has the lien specifically on each one of the individual properties. I mean, it's a great winning situation. The investor wins, the fund wins, the homeowner wins. It's a winning situation.
It's cool to see the new waves of elections in the acquisition strategies of institutions. They're going to pivot with the market, and to see them pivot in a new asset class like manufactured housing, right, and the long-term chattel loan in that strategy, that's what we're following ultimately. And to see the passive diversification capabilities as well as following in the footsteps of institutions, what does that translate to? That translates to further stability in the market, right, following their analysis that they do on a 50-year projection for institutions. But also, not only that, but the emotional satisfaction operating in the market with a big need. There's demand, right, there's a huge demand for low-cost housing, as well as you're creating homeowners in a time when it's needed most. While BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street are pushing people out of affordable home ownership programs, we're here inviting the American dream. At the end of the day, the American dream has been stomped on and bastardized over the last 5 to 10 years of unaffordability in single-family pricing and not upkeep of average income of the American family. What does that translate to? That translates to the emotional satisfaction transaction of a manufactured home, giving qualified ownership in established areas, high desirable, it's not in the boonies. Right. And following in the footsteps of institutions, what else could you ask for at the end of the day?
Yeah, if you think about it, we happen to focus on Arizona and Maricopa County, which is the primary market in Arizona. And the consumer market is still buying and moving into that market. The average consumer is coming from Chicago and the Midwest cold market, like North and South Dakota, where it's cold and the weather's changing right now. So during the summer, all the snowbirds are coming down either to live here full-time or to live here as a secondary home situation. And again, the housing prices is really it's become completely unaffordable. People that are on fixed income, they have to go into a living environment. They're either going to going to rent in an apartment with the fluctuating prices and the inconvenience of apartment living style, being on the third or fifth floor or whatever, and having people living right next to you with just a thin wall in between, where on the flip side, they can live in, as an example, a 55 and older park, which is a specific community environment, and they can get a remodeled home, like 2-bedroom, 2-bath, for the same price with monthly payments that it would be as a regular rental. And
so they match or beat market rent
Right.
with the ownership and note in a manufactured home. They can't go anywhere for cheaper. They have pride of ownership in our market, for what they pay or beat market rent. What does that translate to? That translates to stability in the asset. If that borrower, that qualified, who happened to be double qualified, actually, they get double underwritten one time through the park for like criminal and other criteria.
Evictions, verification of income. So the parks are doing they've raised the bar in regards to qualifying to get into the park. And the critical things are, again, no previous eviction. If they've ever had an eviction, doesn't matter what kind of income they have, they're not qualified. They limit if somebody's had criminal history, they really limit the ability for someone, depending on what the crime was, but they look at criminal history, they look at verification of
the criminal history for a single family note is not going to translate over, where in a manufactured home, that's actually a criteria that they have to fit.
Right. So when we look at buying, rehabbing, and then reselling with owner financing, that consumer that wants to buy that home actually has to get double qualified. They have to go through the stringent park qualifications, and which includes verification of income of what they have, and then they have to go through our qualifications, so they're actually double qualified.
So financially, and if they're an upstanding citizen out in the market, and what does that translate to? What I was getting back to is the stability and security of the asset and the ability for that to perform. Being here at the Note Expo, the Note School, they teach on their due diligence of the quality of the note and its ability to repay. What does that translate to? The double underwriting. These notes are double underwritten, where in comparison to a residential real estate note transaction, it's not fulfilled to that extra degree, ultimately.
You interviewed Eddie Speed here at the Note Expo, and you asked him one of those questions in regards to the validity of notes on manufactured homes, and I think he said sticky paper, right?
Yeah, that was the term that he said about sticky paper, about its ability to repay. If you buy it, it's going to stick, and those payments are going to perform for the term of that deal.
And that's where the benefit of the borrower coming to us has to get double qualified. It makes that chances of that note continuing to perform, it makes it that much higher. So the grade of that note dramatically increases in comparison to somebody getting a traditional real estate single family home or condo that they buy. They just have to do this quick qualification of verification of income. Manufactured home notes does the 2 component of verification. So
not only is it
a better note,
double underwritten,
right?
Inadvertently it being in a leased land community, but also the rates of return on a manufactured home note, purely the chattel mortgage, the seller finance transaction of that note. Not only is it double underwritten, but the yield and the face rate of that note can actually be a higher rate, translates to the affordability of the purchase price of a leased land mobile home opposed to a residential transaction. On a residential note, average face rates on those notes could be anywhere from 8, I've heard as high as 11 in rare occasions, right? But it's tough to get deal flow. Additionally, because of the affordability of the manufactured home, you can charge a higher rate when in comparison of a residential transaction, the rates are lower. It's a double underwritten situation. And we've talked to multiple people from the Note School talking about the validity of the note on manufactured housing was double underwritten, and the risk is still the same mitigated risk on a residential transaction, but you're getting a higher yield on the rate, That's important to differentiate, right?
As Eddie Speed here at the Note Expo, he talked about having sticky paper and the validity of the actual note. And everything that we're talking about today and even this evening, because the event actually ended, it's Texas time, it's like 9:40 p.m., so it's a little bit late, and we thought that we'd come on and just do some candid conversation that we had today.
Absolutely.
With different people.
With different note investors, different individual students that went through the Note School program.
Right.
From Eddie Speed, we talked to Eddie Speed. We talked to Mark Monroe with the Seller Finance Coalition, and Kim Brown from First Shield Financial.
Right.
Today.
Yep. So, at the end of the day, we're engaging with other seasoned investment groups and individual investors and sharing knowledge and information to help us apply our trade of what we focus on, which is low-cost housing, while these other people are focusing on their investment strategy and how they can work with us. And, it was actually a great day. It was probably one of the best first day shows that we've done.
First collaborative days, getting out and meeting with the other individuals and figuring out how we can mutually execute out in this market. It's all about finding the community base and doing business with people like, and trust out in the business. And it's important to come to these events and tap people on the shoulder and ultimately get their take on what's going on out in the market and add another arrow in their quiver at the end of the day. You're wanting to additionally provide that pivot and that passive diversification out in the market. And where do you do that? You do that out at these events, as well as exploring different strategies of individuals that are seasoned in different industries. And meeting Eddie today, was great. I picked his brain, a little bit here and there about his long seasoned strategies and real estate notes. It's important to have people like that in the industry to be able to have your availability, to be able to bounce off ideas and ultimately build community base.
Right. So in summary, it was a great event today, and we learned a lot. We want to convey that message and information, the summary of what we learned, and we're happy to convey that out to our investors and people that want to do business with us. And you could always reach us out. Actually, our number, don't forget, is
602-888-CASH.
That's the greatest number. You can find us through the extensions there. And, we look forward to growing and learning and retaining the knowledge and applying that knowledge of the opportunities that we have in low-cost housing and seeing how we can create wealth for ourselves as well as wealth for other investors that come along for the ride with us. So we invite you to come along with the ride with us. And, our future is big. Silvercrest Opportunity Fund is an opportunity for us to start buying mobile home parks, RV parks, and utilizing our owner carry strategy within specifically the mobile home parks and continuing through that. 2025 is right around the corner. We're here, in November right now, and we're starting to look and see, what events that we're going to attend, who we're going to touch, how we can all share wealth of knowledge and information and help each other grow and build into the business of low-cost housing. So we're excited about it.
Grow and build the opportunity with the individuals that may be watching here today or meeting out here at conferences. It's cool to see and further develop. If you're looking at buying notes, we originate notes at a manufactured housing. So if you're looking for a note for sale, that's mobilemailboxmoney.com. Or if you're an accredited investor looking for a passive return, that's silvercrestopportunityfund.com with studio captions and advertising. Happy to have you here today, James. Thanks so much for your time.
Great job today.
That's Note Expo 2024. Bam, bam, bam.
We'll see you.